As you can see there goes about, I don't know, 18 tundra swans. I'm out here at Bear Island in Colleton County, South Carolina, in the middle of this absolutely beautiful evening where it is not currently raining and muddy and swampy and cold. And today I am out here in pursuit of, you guessed it, fish crows. That's right, the rare and elusive fish crow. And by that I mean I'm out here to see if I can find the local massive fish crow roost. As long as I've been alive, there have just been rivers of fish crows coursing through the skies down the Toogoodoo River by my family's ancestral home. And I have always wondered where they came from and where they're going. And today I'm trying to see if I can answer the latter question. David Youngblood, a friend of mine, was also thinking to himself the same question, and he stumbled on a eBird report I had of some 2,500 fish crows flying over Roxbury Park, and shot me an email, sent out the information he'd gathered, a different stream of crows he had observed coming from Pon Pon Plantation up in Willtown, not too far from the park. There he said they plant about 800 acres of corn to attract waterfowl. They flood the fields, the waterfowl come in, they eat the corn, and then they shoot the ducks. And when they're done, they just leave the corn. They don't harvest it. It's for the birds. And the fish crows come, and they absolutely love it. And he's seen thousands and thousands of birds coming up off of those fields. And speak of the devil, you can see through all of this rain, there's the fish crows. Well, that was a bummer. I had about 100, 150 fish crows fly overhead, and the camera wouldn't focus because it was too wet. So I'm going to point this camera downward the rest of the walk. So anyway, David's seen thousands of fish crows coming off of Pon Pon Plantation at Willtown and then flying south down the Edisto. And in fact, right around in that area, just around the National Wildlife Refuge, the Ace Basin's Hollings National Wildlife Refuge, they meet up with the Toogoodoo crows and they continue south down the Edisto. David ran a line on Google Earth to see where he thought the two fish crow flocks were headed, and his best guess was Samson Island, because both me and him were under the impression that these birds roosted in trees. You know, they would find a impoundment with some large pine trees or some old growth cypress or something like that, and they'd roost in the trees. Well, David got to email and DNR to see if they knew anything about it, because, you know, it'd be hard to miss 10,000 fish crows. And the person he ended up getting in contact with, who is the head manager, for lack of a better word, for Bear Island, Donnelly, and Botany Bay wildlife management areas, said he knew exactly where they were. And they were at one of these impoundments up here on the north end of Bear Island. They were in fact not roosting in trees, they were roosting in the marsh grass in an impoundment. Now, this impoundment, he said he thought they were in, happened to be right in the middle of the line that David drew on Google Earth. And it was right nearby where I thought the birds were roosting. I thought they were roosting over there in that clump of trees that you can't really make out. Somewhere over there, or actually down in the horizon you can see that clump of trees down there. I thought they were somewhere on those trees on one of these islands, and the impoundments were along that causeway over there. When in fact, they were right next to where I thought, over here on the impoundment, and they were right smack in the middle of the line where David thought they were headed. So I'm heading out there right now to see if, in fact, the crows are there. It just sucks that it's, you know, it's really wet and cold out. And it's like 6 o'clock and I just got off work and I won't go home, but I also want to know where these fish crows are, and that wins out in the end. if this doesn't end up being the actual roosting location, both me and David, independently or together, are going to return to film these birds flying into the roost at night and out in the morning, depending on the weather when it's not like this. But considering this is time to pin it and these birds are going to start migrating south here shortly, well, north shortly, wherever the fish crows go, I wanted to get out here and make extra double certain today, since I was already on my way out here. David couldn't make it because he'd been running around the county all day, so he was just wore out. But I would like to make certain, because I just may not have time, because, you know, life. Alrighty, I'm on the second impoundment now. It's just before 6:15, and let me stop. I don't know if you can hear it. Anyway, I don't know if you can hear it between the frogs, the gallinules, and the wind, but there is a cacophony of crows coming from beside that impoundment. I may even see them. Oh, there they are. Them are crows. 6:15 on February 20th, 2019. I gotta get skedaddling, that's like a mile away. Alright, it's been, I don't know, 5 minutes, and I'm rounding over to the third impoundment now. Here's the stone placard put in by DNR commemorating the acquisition of Springfield Marsh. You can read that if you want. I've got crows to see. Don't know if you can hear it yet, but they're out there. I can certainly see them. Hey, an excavator. Well, this is disappointing. Well, I'm out here and I found the crows. They're definitely here. I can see them. But I also can't see them because it's dark. It is now 6:30 sharp, and I am right about smack in the middle of this impoundment, right where it turns up there, as you can see. There's a trunk there, I think. Oh, there's the crows. They're still going. Well, that's interesting. It's also interesting how this camera elects not to focus. Anyway, you can't see it, but there's a big chunk of crows over there. And actually, it's all the crows. They're all moving. Now, I know you can't see that because this camera's poo and it won't allow me to manually focus, or at least I'm too stupid to figure out how to do that at the moment. But all the crows are still heading south. They were congregating right here on this impoundment, and it looks like they are heading out. They're following the South Edisto downstream. I don't know if that means they're going to an entirely different location to roost, or if they're just heading off, if they're migrating already. I don't know, I can't say, but it's a lot of crows. And I can't even really, even see them anymore at this distance, but I'll just let the camera keep running and see how long it'll record. Well, this definitely warrants further investigation. I'll have to be back here sometime when it's not this dark and it's not this rainy and it's not this overcast, when I can actually film something. And hopefully the crows will still be here. So I guess I'll see you then.